This is the Big Deal Podcast, brought to you and powered by New Covenant Baptist Church in Albertville, Alabama. And on this podcast, we're asking the question, what's the big deal about all things Bible, theology, and culture? I'm Justin.
I'm Brad.
Welcome to the Big Deal.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm feeling self-conscious.
What about what?
Well, we've been doing this so long now, I'm starting to think about what shirts I wear.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Because
most people don't watch. Most people listen.
Well, I only got so many shirts.
Yeah.
And they're starting to repeat.
The vast majority of our...
Well, our TikTok reels and stuff is what's getting me,
actually,
you
yeah,
know? Yeah.
That is true.
I'm like,
I forgot about that.
I wear that shirt a lot on Monday. I gotta start thinking about stuff, man.
Yeah, that's so funny.
You don't think about that till you're infamous, on the internets.
Yeah, we're not.
But I'm super duper.
We had one that did pretty good this past week.
Yeah.
It was about taking the Bible literally.
Yeah, if we say stupid stuff, man, it goes through the roof.
Yeah.
And we just got, every once in a while, you just got to rock the boat a little bit.
But a lot of people are listening to the long form podcast, like the full thing.
We're trying to tell you something.
We're trying not to be dumb.
No.
I hope that's happening.
There's a lot of dumb you could be watching.
Yeah, that's true.
And have watched.
And we're trying not to be that. Hope it's helpful to you. So we're talking about end time stuff.
I love it. Let's do it.
I mean, do you really?
No.
So this is the great secret, is that we actually don't really love talking about end time stuff.
I like the very general things about end time. I like that Jesus is coming back for his church. That's and he's going to do judgment, and this world will finally be over and a new one will begin.
Yep.
But I don't like getting down into the weeds. It's sort of like when I'm a carpenter, I like to put stuff together. I don't like to do finished work.
The finished work.
I
hate doing finished work.
Like, I like putting stuff together, but like when it comes time to sanding, staining, putting all your coats of polyurethane on there, I hate that part.
I renovated Evie's bedroom 2 years ago. We swapped her. I had to do a lot of work. It's a 100-year-old house. There's a lot. And I still have not put down quarter round around the baseboards.
It's
still
I'm
not
so
done.
sick of it. Every time I come over there, I think, where's his shoe molding?
Yeah. Well, the trim is there. I just didn't do the quarter round. I
remodeled my farmhouse that was by myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm a tightwad, and I'd be like, how much y'all charge? And they're like, $10,000. I'm like, I could do this for $2,500.
And you do. Yeah.
And I did, But what happens then when people come over and they like it. They're like, oh, that looks great. And you're like, come over here. Let me show you where I messed up the corner piece.
Oh, don't tell people that.
I do that.
Compulsively. I love it when people do that to me, like about their house, and like my first thing is, oh yeah, you're right. That's terrible.
That's terrible. I probably showed you like 10 times.
Things like I never like
you would never see.
Yeah. This happened with Jake. Jake is a listener to the podcast.
Hey, Jake,
we love you, man. One time I was over at his house and he showed me something that he did a ton of work. On his house. He's an incredible, builder and stuff. And I think every time I've come over since then, I'm like, oh yeah, you still haven't fixed that. I can't remember what it was.
It's probably the same thing I did. It's probably like his crown mold and trim. It's trim. It's always the finished work. So there you go, dear listener. The reason we don't like end time stuff is because it's the finished work.
It is.
And it doesn't always make sense. It's sort of like, you ever tried to cut angled crown molding?
Oh, yeah.
It is. You have to have a degree.
Never used the 45.
In quantum physics to flip to make a 90-degree angle fit.
I got a miter saw. My miter saw has it's like printed on it. It has like a chart on how to, like a right angle, top side. And you
if
can
you've
tell
never done it before, even with molding at the bottom, it's the same. With the quarter round. If you've never done it, right now you're thinking, what? If you've ever tried one time to cut two pieces of wood together and to form a 90-degree angle or less, because I have cabinets that was like not a perfect 45.
It's old house.
And people are like, what are you talking about? It's like, dude, you got to flip it one way, flip the other another. And then you go to stick it on there and it's like, wait, what?
With crown molding, you're cutting on two angles at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the hard part. And your house is generally not square.
And that's exactly like the end times.
Yeah. Well, it's not a bad metaphor to talk about the complexity of it all, because what you have is you have detail work that is inconclusive. And so it's one thing if maybe you're doing detail work in theology on like the Trinity or something, and you have very clear-cut passages. You have like the Great Commission, baptized in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right?
The Holy Spirit speaking in Acts, like he speaks
exactly.
to people.
And, the Acts 5, where the Holy Spirit it's called the Holy Spirit in one sentence, and then right after it, like God, and so that's detailed work.
Ananias and Sapphira being put to death by the Holy Spirit.
That's what it was.
God, yeah.
And so you have detail work that is conclusive, right? In end time stuff, you have a lot of detail work that's like, it's people that are speculating a lot of times. And it's not that the speculation isn't worthwhile, some of it isn't worthwhile. It's that you have to acknowledge that you're bridging a gap that God did not bridge for you, on some of these things.
Well, you have to... we should probably just get into the passages. It'll become more evident. But when me and my grandfather would build stuff in the shop, sometimes you just build stuff that's like very practical. It's not going in your house. Nobody will see it.
Yeah.
And he would say, son, we're not building a watch.
Yeah.
Like if something wasn't exactly square.
That's right.
He's like, we're building a shelf for the shop, dude.
Yeah.
Let's not over-obsess about 1/8 of an inch, right? And so, but some people want it to be to the precision of 1/8 of an inch, right?
Yeah.
And that's not what prophecy does.
If you're looking for that in the end times theology that the Bible presents to you, not what YouTube guy or whatever told you or something, or a chart shows you, but if you're looking at the scriptures,
you'll see.
You're going to find vagary and
vagary.
And you're going to find like generalities and
you're multiple...
You're gonna find multiple. What would be the word? Multiple fulfillments.
Yeah. Well, here's the difference, man. Yeah. When you're reading Paul and Ephesians, you're looking at a Rembrandt.
Yeah.
A very detailed painting, specific. Yeah. When you get to prophecy, it's a Jackson Pollock painting. It's just like
no relation to me.
What am I looking at here? I don't know. Or a Picasso.
Yeah.
Probably some of you know Picasso's name and don't know a single Picasso painting. Maybe go look at one, and you'll be like, "That looks weird."
Wild.
Yeah, it's impressionistic and probably not impressionistic, but like that's a specific thing. You look at a Picasso and you're like, "Why is that dude's face so weird?"
Yeah.
But it's because it's apocalyptic literature. It's not the Rembrandt of Ephesians.
And so today what we're going to do is we're going to look through the passage. We're going to start in the Old Testament. We'll probably not get out of the Old Testament today. We might get in the New Testament some, but mostly we're going to start in the Old Testament, and we're going to go through some of the relevant passages that talk about end times. And our goal is this. So we could do this a couple different ways. We could give you the case for dispensational premillennialism, and give you the case for postmillennialism and amillennialism, and kind of describe
mid, and post-trib rapture.
Yeah, we could tell you like the structure, those different structures and stuff, but I don't think that they treat the text as well, like if you do it like that. And so we want to look at because the Bible passages.
Every single one of those interpretations are all looking at the same passages, right?
Yeah.
And so what happens when people explain end time stuff, they go through and they're like, well, this is what dispensational premillennialism is. And so you get this philosophy.
Yeah.
And all you're doing there is teleporting people to Panama City to go from my old analogy.
Yeah, use the analogy again.
So basically I said if you have an end times in your head, a lot of times you're just like the kid that fell asleep in his parents' car and woke up in Panama City and you don't know how you got there.
Yeah.
If somebody just starts explaining to you, this is what a premillennial pre-trib rapture is, they're sitting you in Panama City because they're not really taking you through the relevant text. Because if you read these relevant texts that we're about to read, I guarantee you, there ain't nobody reading that the first time going, obviously.
Yeah.
You're going to be like, what?
Yeah, exactly.
What even is this?
Yeah.
And so I think that's why it's appealing to so many people's brains. A lot of people ooh, I'm going to say something crazy.
Oh,
You ready?
Crazy.
A lot of people in the church, especially the West, are super uncomfortable with mystery. Super.
Yeah.
We want to know exactly what this means.
Yeah.
Exactly. I want this to the 1/8 of an inch. And
Yeah.
I want to say, we're not building a watch. That's not what this is for. So, yeah, let's go, man. Hit me with some passages and some phrases.
So that's what we're going to do. We're going to go through the Old Testament, these passages. Now there's a disclaimer. There are tons of passages that have small relevance in the Old Testament to end times. And so we're not going to look at every single one because the first theme we're going to look at is called the Day of the Lord. And I don't even know how many passages. There are so many passages that talk about the Day of the Lord.
In the day of the Lord, you're about to get an end times thing, or in that day, it will say. And in those days.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we're not going to deal with every single passage in the Old Testament. We're going to kind of hit the high points, the points that seem to influence your trajectory, which positions you land on. And so we're going to go through it. We're going to deal with each one of these texts and read it. You're going to read along. Okay, listen.
It can be translated in your text. End of days, days to come.
Yeah.
Sometimes they'll say the day of the Lord.
Yeah. And so we're going to read those texts, and then what we'll do is for each one that we read, we will kind of talk about how it gets interpreted and the options that are out there for its interpretation. And so you can kind of see it kind of at the lower level of it is like, what are they doing with the text to get to Panama City?
Yeah.
This idea. So we'll start with the Day of the Lord. This is a theme. And the way you would say is an eschatological theme.
Yeah, eschatological is in last words.
Yeah, last things.
Last things.
Yeah.
Sorry, that'd be
ology,
eschatology.
Well, eschaton
is last, and ology is a word.
Yeah.
It's a word about the last things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They call it last things or end times.
Yeah.
End times we're calling end times because that's the common vernacular, but they don't really. If you look at a theology book, they don't usually call it that. They usually
And I want to say something about this.
Okay.
So when we're doing end time stuff, especially from the Old Testament, it's blurry, and by blurry I mean most of the time. There is no distinction between the incarnation of Christ.
Wait.
Am I going too far ahead?
We had to actually read first, yeah.
Well, I'm scared you're going to skip my favorite.
No, you're going to get to talk about it all. All right, so is there one that you wanted to look at specifically, a passage?
Well, the first one I can think of is Genesis 49.
Oh, no, that's a good one. Let's start with Genesis 49. That's probably the earliest. That's the earliest, right?
Yeah.
So Genesis 49, this is
Jacob. So while you're pulling it up.
It's a song, right?
Yeah, it is a prophecy from Jacob as he's dying.
Yep,
and he's blessing his sons, who will be the 12 tribes of Israel.
Yeah.
And it's prefaced with...
Now, this is not Day of the Lord.
Now, he'll say, I'm about to tell you what's going to happen end of days or in the last days.
Yeah.
In the last days. When a prophet of God says in the last days or the day of the Lord, he's talking about the same thing. And so...
In the days to come.
In the days to come, might be translated.
The last days it works. Yeah. Go ahead.
And so he starts blessing his boys.
Yep.
And he gets to Judah.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts talking about...
You want me to just read it?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll read it. Yeah,
read
you
it.
set it up for it. Yeah. We'll start in verse 8. Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the necks of your enemies. Your father's sons will bow down to you. Judah is a young lion, my son. You return from the kill. He crouches. He lies down like a lion or a lioness. Who dares to rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, or the staff from between his feet, until he whose right it is comes. And the obedience of the peoples belongs to him. Is that where you wanted to?
No, the next part is all the way to 12.
Right. He ties his donkey to a vine and the colt of his donkey to the choice vine. He washes his clothes in wine and his robes in the blood of grapes. His eyes are darker than wine and his teeth are whiter than milk.
This may be the most important one.
Okay.
Of all the end time prophecies of the Old Testament.
Nice. That's a take right there.
Yeah, that's a take. Right. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay. Because this is the idea of the Lion of the tribe of Judah is constant. The idea of mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He is trampling out the vineyards where the grapes of wrath are stored. This comes straight from here where he talks about his robes dipped in the blood of grapes. this trampling out the vineyards of the grapes of wrath is a imagery that shows back up in Revelation.
This is the first hyperlink for
yes,
this.
it's the hyperlink for Jesus treading out the wrath of God. And so two things happen in these end days, and it's blended it together for us. It is the ruler who appears on earth to have the obedience of all nations. He comes from the tribe of Judah. He is going to usher in a time of peace and prosperity such as never been seen. When it says that he ties his colt to the choicest vine, what he's saying is there are so many grapes and there's so much prosperity. What's going to happen if you tie a donkey to a grapevine?
It's going to eat.
He's going to eat all the grapes.
Yeah.
So you have so many grapes, it doesn't matter if you tie him to it. It's going to be prosperity galore.
Yeah.
And he's going to, this whole weirdness of wash his robes in the blood of grapes. What does that mean? And, well, we'll see what that means. So what we have is the incarnation.
Yeah.
We have the ruler that comes from the house of Judah, which we later learn comes from the house of David of the tribe of Judah, right?
Yep.
And he is going to usher in a time of unparalleled prosperity.
Yeah.
And he's going to do something about the wrath of God.
Yeah.
All of this in one end-day prophecy.
Yeah.
Right?
It's the earliest.
It's the earliest.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, you could go to Genesis 3.
Yeah,
but
we've been looking for this since Genesis 3.
This is like so this is like the level 2 of Genesis 3, 15 or 16.
It is a progressive revelation of it is exploding into a bigger and bigger, and it's going to be.
So Genesis 3 is there will be your offspring, your
will
seed,
crush the head of Satan.
Yeah, the head of the serpent,
and you will crush his heel.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And this is the next level of that. Okay, that's because that's what you're doing in Genesis is you're tracking the offspring, the seed of the woman, right?
Yep.
And you're tracking who that is, and it lands. You get to the children of Israel, of Jacob.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, who's it going to be? It's going to be Judah.
Which is a shock.
Yeah, that is a shock, right?
You're expecting Joseph, honestly.
Yeah, you are, the way it's set up. But it's going to be Judah. And Judah is in, and so that's this next level is, there's going to be one from Judah, right, who's going to do this, right?
And they consider, so in Jacob's brain and in the brain of the prophets, the coming of Messiah ushers in the end days.
Yeah.
So I just turned you all into covenantalists.
Yeah, so like what exactly? So what we're from the beginning, what we're seeing is that when Jesus shows up, it is end times time.
Yes.
It's like this, the ball is rolling.
And in fact, Paul talks about us being in the last days.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have the reference?
I'd have to Google it.
Let's
I think he says it more than once.
Let's get chat involved.
Yeah.
When does, I'd recognize that too.
Yeah.
Paul say.
So people look at it and they're like, Paul's talking this way because he was expecting an imminent return of Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, because he's saying, these are the last days, this is the last hour. Little children, this is the last hour, I think First John says, or Second John, one of them Johns. They're always talking about, and so you read it and you think, they were, maybe you might say more liberal scholars.
Hebrews, well, that's Paul, but Hebrews 1 is there, and 1 Corinthians 10.
Yeah, it comes up more than once.
Yeah.
But people read that, maybe more liberal scholars say, well, the apostles were expecting Jesus to come back in their lifetime because they keep talking about the end of days and it drawing near. And it's like, no, they're talking like the prophets of the Old Testament.
Yeah.
That once Messiah has come on the scene, we are in the last days.
Yeah. And now I'm not liberal at all, but I am fine with Paul not knowing and thinking it could happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I think he says a couple things, like when he's given some instructions about widows and single people. It's like he's like, man, life is too crazy right now for you to Jesus come back anytime,
Yeah, but then again, he also kind of he jumps on people for that too. He's like, listen, all these people who aren't working because they think Jesus is about to come back or that he's already come back. Tell them if they don't work, they don't eat.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right. Yeah.
And it was because of end times
It's both,
hoopla.
yeah.
He was like, look, man.
They didn't know when Jesus was coming back.
No,
it's
they
not
didn't
like
know.
they were told it's
Jesus
going to be 1,000.
didn't know.
It's not like they were told it's going to be thousands of years.
Yeah.
They might have thought, I guess he could roll up in town soon.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
My point is that's not really like a liberal position.
Well, it is whenever they're saying the apostles. They use it to say the apostles were incorrect.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
They're not incorrect. We don't even today.
Yeah.
Me and Justin here today are living like Jesus could come back in 5 minutes.
That's right.
We would still say he could come back any minute now.
Yeah.
Christians have said that from the beginning.
Yeah,
from Paul, because there's nothing else left.
Yeah,
except for the timing of God.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything else. The work of Christ is finished. He can come back for his church anytime, any day, anywhere. And Paul believed that, and we believe that because Jacob taught us that in Genesis 49.
That's right. That's right. So the first one is this Genesis passage, and after Genesis, you don't get much. You get the in a halfway point of Deuteronomy. You get the prophet like Moses. Not much is said about it. It's going to be Jesus, right? But again, that's not really end timesy. That's just messianic.
No, and we're following Israel because we're looking for the guy.
That's right.
So it's giving
why
the
is the
history
Old
of those
Testament
people.
about Israel? Well, you're looking for the one who's coming from Israel.
We're looking for Judah's line's whelp.
Yeah, that's right. And it's a lot. Maybe you're reading through First and Second Kings and you think it's like, or Samuel. I mean, it's gonna be David.
Yeah,
and he proves it's not himself, right?
No. 2 Samuel 7.
Yeah.
He promised he will come from his house.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, there's a new covenant made with David, the Davidic
sit on
covenant.
the throne forever.
Yeah.
And then you think, well, maybe it's going to be Solomon because it's a great time of peace and everybody's rich. And at the end of it, he's like, no.
No, because he
did not tear down the high places, and at the end of his life, he was led astray by his foreign wives and worshipped other gods.
That's right.
And so I had a professor, may he rest in peace, Selhammer. He always said, you in the Kings and Samuel, the point is you're trying to find the Messiah, and every king gets a report, and it's Deuteronomy baseball, 2 strikes and you're out. And so
Kings and Chronicles,
at the end of it, even if it's a good king like Josiah, there's always these little addendums, and it says he was great and followed the Lord like David, which is rare, by the way. Most of these kings were lousy. But he say, but he did not tear down the high places, and he tried to offer incense unto the Lord, which was only something the priest should do. And so when you see that, that is the writer telling you, this guy wasn't a Messiah. We're waiting for him.
Kings was written by the prophets. Like, so it's like their commentary on the kingships and stuff. And who are they doing it? Are we tracking right?
Which is where we're going to get to. Yeah. But so anyway, end days starts Genesis 49.
Yeah.
And it's a blur. The end days begin with the advent of Messiah.
That's right. And you get some messianic stuff in the prophets, but there's a theme that develops called the Day of the Lord. And the prophets are when we say the prophets, we're talking about the 4 major prophets and how many minor, is it 12?
13, 12, something
like that. All these minor prophets.
Obadiah, Nahum, those guys.
Hosea. They're all these shorter books. And these are actual prophets who are speaking truth to power, whatever, to the kings, to the nation, and they're telling people to repent, for good reason, right? Israel majorly, and Judah, both northern and southern kingdom, majorly deny the Lord through those
they're
years.
Living
they're following Baal and all these kinds of things, right? And they issue a lot of these warnings or oracles to the nation and to the kings at the time. And they say that there's this day coming.
Yeah.
Right.
We need to do a separation here.
Okay, go ahead.
There is a difference between Nahum's day, speaking truth to power.
Yeah.
There's a difference between that and his book. They're doing 2 different things.
Okay, explain that. Yeah.
So,
I don't have a Nahum reference.
You can use any minor prophet in this. You can use any prophet. You can use Isaiah. We know that, like, when Isaiah went into the king and does his stuff and does his rebuke, that was for his day and it's recorded. But the book of Isaiah is doing something different.
Yeah.
The book of Isaiah is largely going to land on a people that are in exile.
Yeah.
Because by the time they're reading Isaiah, it's a history. Because the king didn't listen.
Yeah.
Right? So what I'm saying is when Isaiah comes in and says, if you don't repent from this stuff, God is going to come in and Babylon's going to wipe us out and we're going to go in captivity, bud.
Yeah.
Well, by the time they're reading this, they're in captivity.
Yeah.
So what is the book for? Because it's not to warn that king. He's already dead and beat.
Yep.
So I just want to get that in your head because when we start talking about prophecy, the question becomes, who's it for? And Peter talks about that. He's like, the prophets realized, oh man, I'm not writing this for myself.
Yeah.
And even God says, hey, Isaiah, write this down in the scroll, seal it up, and send it, buddy. It's not for you. It's for a future generation. And Isaiah was like, oh. And that's why Peter talks about the fact that they're the prophets, you see things the prophets long to look into, because when Isaiah's writing Isaiah, or whoever's helping him, it's named Isaiah, but we don't know that Isaiah wrote it all. We know that it's about Isaiah and that his prophecies are in it, but somebody else could have put it together, and that's not liberal. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
And so when he's writing it down, he's all excited, and he's like, this is not going to come to pass in my day?
Yep.
The Emmanuel's not coming? And the Lord's like, no, man, it's not for you. It's for somebody else.
Yeah.
So anyway, we'll get to that.
Yeah. Here's an example of this, right? So Isaiah 2, okay, beginning of Isaiah. There's a lot you could read here. I'm going to start in verse 12 because it's pretty explicit here.
Okay.
For a day belonging to the Lord of armies is coming, right? This is the day of the Lord, right? Against all that is proud and lofty, against all that is lifted up, it will be humbled. Against all the cedars of Lebanon, lofty and lifted up, against all the oaks of Bashan, against all the high mountains, against all the lofty hills, against every high tower and every fortified wall, against every ship of Tarshish, against every splendid sea vessel. The pride of mankind will be brought low, and human loftiness will be humbled. The Lord alone will be exalted on that day. The worthless idols will vanquish completely. People go into caves in the rocks and holes in the ground, away from the terror of the Lord and from his majestic splendor, when he rises to terrify the earth. Ooh. On that day, people will throw their worthless idols of silver and gold, which they made to worship, to the moles and the bats. They will go into caves of the rocks and the crevices in the cliffs, away from the terror of the Lord and from his majestic splendor, when he rises to terrify the earth. Put no more trust in a mere human who is only the breath in his nostrils. What is he really worth? And it's going to keep on going, right? There's a lot of stuff to say about that.
Yeah, but there's another one in the first of it, though. In the last days, it's more familiar.
Yeah, the very beginning,
the last days, it says,
it doesn't say the day of the Lord. I wanted to get to that. But yeah, this is totally related, right?
He will judge between the nations. He will render decisions for many peoples.
Yep.
They will turn their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Yep.
Nation will not lift up sword against nation, and never again will they learn war. Now, that's not for Isaiah.
No, that's right. Obviously, they're...
Obviously. Yeah.
They're lots of war, right? And there's been a lot of wars. So he's looking forward to a time where there is no war. This, plowshares into pruning hooks, right? And that or spears into swords into plows, spears into pruning knives. That's a really neat illustration.
So a pruning hook, just so you can get an idea, is like you got apple trees that are 20 feet tall. So instead of spears, what you do is you just bend that knife around so you can reach up and pluck apples.
Yeah, they're farmers and they're not there's war's over and peace and prosperity's around now.
There's no need for weapons.
So that's an example of this, right? So you have on one hand you have peace. Like right before that, come, let's go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the house of the God of Jacob. He will teach us about his ways, so that he will teach us. God himself will teach us, right?
And all nations will stream to it.
Yeah, all the nations, so that we may walk in his paths. For instructions will go out of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. He will settle disputes among the nations, and that's where you get the... Yeah, and so you have peace, and you have judgment, right? And that is... summary statement what the day of the Lord is. Like every time it's brought up nearly about it is judgment on one hand against the wicked, and it's salvation for the righteous, right? For God's people. And it comes up over and over again in the prophets. I don't know the stats. I don't know the numbers. It's just everywhere. Like you can't read the prophets and not deal with the day of the Lord. There's a lot in Joel, Amos, so any ones that are specific to you that you like to talk about?
You mean before we go into like major prophet stuff?
Yeah.
No, I mean we can talk. Joel gets quoted a lot about your old man will dream dreams and the Spirit of God will be poured out on all people.
Acts 2.
But not really.
Yeah.
But what I want you to see is, or what I want people to think about is, how do we get to millennialism from this.
Yeah,
and that's not what's happening.
That's not there, right? And so you're tracking like if you were a 4th century BC Jew. What do you think about the end of the world? Like, well, you
think Messiah's coming,
exactly.
and the earth is going to be judged when he comes, and he will establish his kingdom, which will last forever.
Yeah,
that explains why the disciples were always so confused.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why Peter chopped off Malchus's ear
right.
in the garden.
They are expecting these things to be simultaneous.
Yes,
right. And this is also the reason for the occasion for the book of Revelation, because Messiah has come. The things have happened, right? Why are all these Christians getting persecuted and killed?
Why hasn't the Davidic dynasty?
Jesus is on his throne in heaven.
Yeah, why is the dynasty of David not back?
Why are we getting killed for it?
Yeah.
Why are we being attacked? Why aren't we being protected?
Yeah.
And that's the question that's lingering, and that's what Jesus answers to John in the Revelations. Like, it's coming. But this is a time of suffering, right? This is a time, the world, I am restraining Satan, but this, not completely, right?
Yeah.
Like bad stuff still happening. So you have the day of the Lord. That is probably the biggest thing from the Old Testament end times wise. Now you get there's a couple passages that get brought up to talk about end times that are in the Old Testament in the major prophets.
Yeah.
Ezekiel and Daniel, really. There's Isaiah too. We'll talk about Isaiah. Yeah, we'll start with Isaiah, I guess. Is there one you want to do?
Oh, well, I mean, just you'll know, we don't have to go into too big of detail, but the Christmas time prophecies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, wonderful Counselor, Prince of Peace, Mighty God, Holy One. Yeah. That's from Isaiah, right? And the government will be upon his shoulders.
Yeah.
Charlie Brown Christmas, right? Isaiah talks about the fact, what is it, 55 or 2 or something, where he talks about the stump of Jesse will sprout.
Yeah.
And it will the kingdom of David will come, and upon he will, by his stripes will be healed. The whole like Messiah, the 5th gospel is in that. Is what
so Isaiah is like a huge hyperlink, set of hyperlinks for Revelation and for other places that mention end times things. You get the first clear reference to a new heaven and new earth in Isaiah, at the end of Isaiah. Maybe an important one is
53.
53, yeah, you can read it if you want.
The Lord was pleased to crush him, putting him to grief. He renders himself as a guilt offering, and he will see his offspring and prolong his days, for the good pleasure of the Lord will prosper in his hand. He was oppressed and he was afflicted, yet he did not open his mouth, like a lamb that is led to the slaughter, and a sheep that is silent before its shearers. He did not open his mouth. He was for oppression and judgment. He was taken away. And as for his generation, he was cut off from the land of the living, for the transgression of my people, to whom the stroke was due. His grave was assigned with wicked men, yet he was with a rich man in his death, because he had done no violence, nor was there any deceit in his mouth. So that's 53. And then see if this sounds familiar.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is 55. Behold, everyone who thirsts, come to the waters. And you who have no money, come, buy and eat. Come and buy wine and milk, without money and without cost. Why do you spend your money for that which is not bread, and your wages which does not satisfy? Listen carefully to me and eat what is good, and delight yourself in abundance. This is pretty much verbatim in Revelation.
Yeah.
When the Holy Spirit says come, and the bride say come, buy without cost and water. So what I want to say about that is, what begins to happen in can I talk about covenant and dispensational in regard to this?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
So a covenantalist, when they come to these prophecies, and we're going to go to Ezekiel and Daniel, they are going to read this typologically. And
explain typologically.
Okay, so what I'm going to this is really, really important.
Yeah.
So when Jacob comes out and says, "Behold, you are lion's whelp, Judah," this idea of the lion of the tribe of Judah becomes, when you say lion of the tribe of Judah, what do you think?
I think of Jesus.
Messiah.
Yeah, Messiah.
Right? So Lion of Tribe of Judah becomes a type or a word that's supposed to summon in your brain Messiah.
Yeah.
Okay? Babylon becomes this way.
Typology is about like think of like a category of something, or like a if I were to create, like, what's the word, prototype.
Yeah, it's a prototype.
Archetype,
it's
right?
an archetype, a hyperlink.
Yeah.
So
that's what we mean when we say typological.
It becomes bigger in life. So there's a couple of ways you can see this in the Bible. At the end of 1 Peter, he says, "Your sister in Babylon greets you."
Yeah.
Now we know Peter wrote from Rome.
Yeah.
Why in the world does he put Babylon? What is Babylon? Babylon is the place where God's people go into captivity.
That's right.
And so when he says, "Your sister in Babylon greets you," he's not saying they are literally in Babylon. He's saying we are the exiled people of God living in a fallen world under the system of Babylon.
Yeah.
And so Babylon becomes a type of the world that lives that takes captive the people of God, and they have to suffer under that.
Yeah.
I had a professor who said that he knew he was teaching the Bible right when the principal put down a new law, like the tyrant he was, and your shorts had to extend to an inch below your knee. And he said, the kid said, "Oh, our principal is the Pharaoh."
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, see, he'd done typology in his brain, right?
Yeah.
He had read about the tyranny of Pharaoh in the Bible.
Yeah.
And because this guy said, you got to wear shorts an inch below your knees, what a Pharaoh, right? He's got us in bondage.
Yeah.
And so that's how they read, the covenantalist reads these prophecies as bouncing prototypes that get more and more specific, but may not be a literal thing.
Yeah, it's going to find its fulfillment in the person of Jesus.
Yes.
Not in a fulfillment of like the one-to-one. The example would be like, okay, the nations are coming up to Jerusalem for education from God himself. All right. So the way that plays out is covenantalists would say, that is what's happening now.
Yes.
Where is the temple of God? The temple of God is in the believers in his church, right? The Holy Spirit has made his presence there. And the nations are coming to Christ, right? That's
we're pouring to Zion right now. The true Zion, not made with men's hands.
Yeah.
It would be as absurd as saying, well, Peter must have written this from Babylon.
Yeah. And the futurist, someone who, I don't want to just say dispensationalist. I'm not sure all of them would agree with that. But someone who's like looking for a literal one-to-one, something to happen in the future based on this, is they're going to say there has to be a mass revival in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
Where
all the nations go there.
And all the nations are vying to come there to learn from, because God is living there right now.
Yes.
And so that has to be this millennial kingdom. A 1,000-year reign where Christ is living in Jerusalem and teaching and being there as a king.
There you go.
Right?
So a futurist would say, no, Isaiah has not been fulfilled.
Yeah, that's right.
There is going to be a day when Messiah the Prince rules from literal Jerusalem, and the literal nations will stream there.
That's right.
And a covenantalist will say, no, we don't. No, we're going to Jesus now.
Yeah.
The nations are streaming to Jesus now. This is a type of a thing that's to come.
Yeah.
And they would say, just like Peter didn't write from Babylon, Babylon stood for something else, or something bigger. And they would say, no, it needs a literal fulfillment, or else what's the point? And then they start punching each other.
Yeah.
Wait, no, we don't punch.
No punching.
We just write mean stuff on the internet in the comments.
Yeah, in the comments.
That's an evil
We say
old man.
obviously a lot in the comments.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah, there's been a lot of obviously.
Anytime somebody says obviously, you should almost eliminate that word from your vocabulary.
Yeah.
Because if it was obvious.
Especially in end times. I mean, obviously Jesus is going to come back. We got that. That's obvious.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
Every time you say it, I think Snape.
I know.
Dude, I can't help it.
Obviously. Yeah.
I can't hear apparently either without the little prophet boy on the TV. Apparently. Never been on live television before. I love that kid. He's a grown man now.
Yeah,
but anyway.
Probably. All right, so that's a good example of how this plays out. So let's go to Ezekiel, I guess. Is
that's a
is
good
there another
spot.
one?
Well, you can really illustrate how these two interpretive methods diverge from the. You going to go to the temple or?
So I was looking more in Isaiah, make sure there's everything.
Okay.
No, I think it's good. Yeah, there's a lot of. I think the only other thing I was going to say in Isaiah is just about almost everything you see in the book of Revelation has already been said in Isaiah.
Yeah.
Like it has. It's like it is So here's my point of that. Just as I'm looking at this, is if you're reading Revelation and you don't understand it, you've not read Isaiah yet.
Yeah.
You got to read Isaiah to get the imagery.
Yes.
And if you're reading Revelation and you're looking at stuff that's happening now, you've not read Isaiah.
No. Well, here's the thing. And if you're reading Isaiah and you haven't read Genesis,
yeah, that's exactly right.
They're all talking to each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, the prophets are always. The weird thing about prophecy is it's always looking back.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing about it. It's always making callbacks. Mm-hmm. Even when, oh my goodness, Balaam.
Yeah.
When he makes his super prophecy in Numbers about the Messiah, he says, "Behold, Judah is a lion's whelp," and you go ding 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 ding.
Yeah.
We talked about that.
Here's a reference I want to make.
Hey.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Can we pause it?
All right, we're gonna pause for a bathroom break. We'll be right back,
super
everybody.
sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, everyone, we're back from potty break.
Yep.
Sorry.
You know when those long form podcasts like the Rogan Show or whatever, those guys go to the bathroom?
Yeah, he'll say, "Hey, we're gonna take a break real quick."
I never watch stuff. So I don't.
You don't watch the long form podcast. You only listen to like little bits of it and stuff.
I ain't got the. I have the attention span of a mouse on crack.
You just gotta put your AirPods in while you're doing some work, man.
I won't listen to it. I can't double track like that.
Oh, really? Oh.
Like I watch people running on treadmills watching TV shows. I'm like, how?
What?
I can't do that.
What?
No way. No way.
That's the only way I can do it. I literally cannot do it.
I do not understand how you pay attention.
It's all I want to pay. I don't want to pay attention to the misery of running on a treadmill.
Well, the misery just takes over for me.
Yeah, I hate that's awful. It's why do you call it a treadmill? Same with like working, like I'm like mowing grass or something. Dude, I don't want to watch the grass blades. I'm gonna listen to. I
don't listen to nothing.
You don't even listen to music.
Earplugs.
You don't even listen to music.
Earplugs, man.
Oh yeah, I listen to stuff. I listen to books, podcasts, whatever.
I wouldn't understand a thing you said if I mow the yard and I'm listening to a book. I can do it mowing, but if I'm under physical exertion, that's got my full attention.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember, it's so wild. Like different renovation projects and stuff I've done, they have stories that go with them. They have books that go with them. As I've like I was listening to this book while I renovated this bathroom or whatever or something, and those stories go with that project in my mind because of that. Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Anyways, we're talking about prophecy, and we're going to go to Ezekiel. We're going to go ahead and go over to Ezekiel 38. This is an interesting one. This is if you have. I actually encourage, if you're ever listening with us and you have the ability to do so, to open a Bible with us, so you can see it for yourself.
Make sure he's not making up stuff.
I'm not just making up stuff. This is called the defeat of Gog, and you may remember. If you're familiar with end times things, maybe you went to one of these churches or something that they always talk about this stuff. They will talk about the Gog and Magog battle stuff, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's already it's a thing from the Bible already
in Ezekiel.
In Ezekiel, you might not know that it comes up in Ezekiel. I'm not going to read the whole thing. It's two chapters. It's whole 2 chapters. Basically, it talks about an invasion thing that happens. Wait, so what is going on here, and how? Like, you first explain what's going on in it, and then we can talk about its levels of interpretation. So,
you want me to say?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
So Ezekiel is prophesying. It's what it looks like, an invasion of Israel.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a big old battle.
Yeah.
And the Lord's going to win it for him.
Who's Gog?
That's a great question. I think it's the Balkan area. It's like part of maybe Western Russia, Balkan area, Caspian Sea kind of area.
Not Russia.
No.
Like we're talking
the places that they're fighting about.
Yeah,
At one time it was Russia. All in Balkans over there, Russia got
that's
it.
Right. Yeah.
Back in the 90s when this stuff was in its heyday.
The north of the Middle East, right?
Yeah, which is weird in people's minds. They probably don't realize how close like Russia and those places are to the Middle East.
Yeah. The former Soviet Union.
Former Soviet bloc.
Yeah, that's right.
But also Gog and Magog also includes like parts of Persia, which is modern day Iran.
Yeah.
Wait, no. Yeah, that's right.
So here, if you look at
or
verse 1.
Is that Assyria?
What?
I'm confused.
What? Assyria is north.
I think Iranians today would tell you they're Persians.
Oh, yeah, but they weren't before.
They were Persians. That's where Persia was.
Yeah, Persia.
Iraq is where Babylon was.
Assyria is older than Persia goes.
Yeah. It became Persia.
Yeah. The verse 2, Son of man, face Gog of the land of Magog. So that's part of it too. It's like Gog is the king, Magog is the land.
Yeah,
right?
And there's a textual variant too.
Yeah.
Sometimes it says Agag, which is the guy that Samuel killed.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. The prince of Meshech and Tubal, right? That's the area. So this is like an invasion from them that's being prophesied now. And when is this, right? That's the question. Is this like something that happened then? It's being picked up in Revelations, like here's a type, or is this like a futurist thing?
Okay, depends on whose hermeneutical model you follow.
So give the covenantalist first.
So the covenantalist would say this happened. Gog and Magog came in. This happened in that day. And what the writer of Revelation's doing when he references Gog and Magog, he's not saying that we're going to have another battle with literal Gog and Magog.
Yeah.
But Gog and Magog have come to represent the worldly powers that will persecute and try to overtake the church and the people of God. And so what the covenantalists would say is Israel in Revelation is not the Israel of the Old Testament, and Gog and Magog are not the specific enemies of the Old Testament. Rather, Israel is standing now for the people of God, the church even, and Gog and Magog are those temporal powers that resist the people of God. And so they would say, just like in Peter when he says, your sister in Babylon greets you. We know that the church is not in Babylon. There's not even a Babylon at that time. It is Rome. But Babylon has come to mean that temporal power which resists the church. Gog and Magog do the same thing in Revelation.
Yeah.
So what they would say is after Messiah has come, we're living in a time where the worldly powers are attacking the church of Jesus Christ, and we are living in the time of the battle against Gog and Magog. You are fighting Gog and Magog today.
Yeah.
Because you're living in a worldly system.
That's right. Yeah. So that's
the covenantalist way they do prophecy.
Now the futurist is going to look at this and they say this is part one of two for this Gog Magog deal.
Because not everything that happens here happened.
Yeah, that's right. And there's like some there's some stuff that pushes it, makes it seem very end times, like final moment kind of stuff, right? Verse 21, like right after this, you have the restoration stuff. I will display my glory among the nations, and all the nations will see the judgment I've executed in the hand I've laid on them. From that day forward, the house of Israel will know that I'm the Lord their God, and the nations will know that the house of Israel went into exile on account of their iniquity, because they dealt unfaithfully with me, hid his face from them, dealt with them. Anyways, now I will restore the fortunes of Jacob and have compassion on the whole house of Israel. And so the funny thing, the important part of that is the whole house of Israel. Mm-hmm. So Jacob, meaning not just in the futurist is going to really layer into this. Yeah. Not just Judah, not just Jews, all Israelites.
Yes.
Right. And that's a big factor in the millennial kingdom stuff.
Right. So when they start believing, when you're hermeneutic, that's the way you read a text. Okay, if the way you read a text demands a 1/8 of an inch precision,
yeah,
then you will look at this and say, this clearly hasn't all been fulfilled.
Yeah.
Because not all of Israel has been saved.
That's right. And
so when is that going to happen?
Yeah. So verse 27 is part of this. Like, when I bring them back from the peoples and gather them from the countries of their enemies, I will demonstrate my holiness through them in the sight of many nations. All right. And so that's what they're saying is like, well, okay, where are the Danites and the Asherites? And like, how are these tribes going to be redeemed? That can only happen in this millennial thing. They're going to be revealed somehow, right? And so all Israel will be gathered together. And so they're looking for 12 tribes.
Yeah.
Hanging out in Jerusalem area.
This is
right?
part
Israel.
of the reason I stopped being a dispensationalist.
Yeah.
This is what made no sense to me.
Are there Danites? I mean, you could say technically.
Well, there's this thing.
Like,
if you do like ancestry,
Yeah.
okay, you start doing your ancestry stuff. One time, this was 20 years ago, I guess. Somebody in my family did an ancestry, and they were like, "Hey, our people are descended from Pocahontas."
Okay.
Yeah, from Virginia, and John Rolfe. And I was like, "Well, how about that?" Well, if you go back and you look at Pocahontas and her lineage, there's about, I don't know, 7 million people
Yeah.
who are descended from Pocahontas today. So if you don't go strictly patrilineal, if you're like branching off your mom and then go through her dad, there are millions of people who are related to these folks.
Yeah, that's right.
And so are there Danites?
Like, technically, yeah.
There's good billions of them.
If you go to the first century when Jesus was around, right?
Yeah.
This is about 700 years after the destruction of the northern kingdom, where the Ephraimites, Danites, all the Asherites, all these people were
Gone.
Right?
10 tribes disappeared.
There are none.
None.
There is no one saying, I come from this tribe.
No.
They are Assyrians, Samaritans, Babylonians.
Now, if you were in the South, you did. Benjamin would say, I'm from
that's
Benjamin.
Right. You have Jews,
Judah. Yeah.
and Benjamites and some Levites.
Yeah.
That's all there was.
But so since the destruction of the temple in 70 AD, there is no more way to prove even you're a Levite today.
That's right.
You can't prove that you're a priest.
Yeah.
They will say Cohen, which means priest in
It's
Hebrew.
a last name. If you meet someone last name Cohen, yeah.
But according to the census, you can't go back and say I can serve. I'm fit for temple duty because here is my lineage all the way back to Aaron.
Yeah.
We don't have that no more.
Well, let me tell you that we got a direct message on TikTok last week.
Wait.
Did I send you this?
No.
I did send you this.
I'm
you
on
haven't
the
seen it.
edge of my seat.
All right. From someone who saw our stuff, who claimed to have his Davidic lineage, a family of people who they say they have their records, they have everything proven. Yeah, I was like one of those guys.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it really is.
That is.
I sent it to you on TikTok.
Amazing.
Yeah, we got this. It was probably like a half of a novel of like that why we should listen to them because they have the
Maybe
lineage.
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That is not true.
That's not true. No.
So even Jewish people would tell you that.
Yeah.
That ain't true.
They don't know.
No, they don't know.
And so it's
For all you know, you could be descended from Dan.
No, every one of us probably have pieces,
a common
of
ancestor,
the genetic, ties to those places, simply for the fact of the people that conquered them were conquerors.
Yeah.
And conqueror genetics go everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
There's like Genghis Khan.
Exactly.
Has like I read a thing. It's like in the country of Mongolia. I can't remember. It's an absurd stat. Like 70% of all males are descended from Genghis Khan.
It's not just Mongolia, dude.
Yeah.
It's all the way to Europe.
Because he had like a gajillion kids.
It's all the way to Europe.
Yeah. So this is so. Oh man, I don't want to get too far ahead. I don't want to show all my cards. I'm trying to be nice.
We'll say this. The point is that like you might get to a passage like this, and the futurist people that lean more to this dispensational premillennialism stuff, they're going to look at this and they're going to say, we need all 12 tribes showing up in the land.
Yes.
And they have to get their ancestral land.
Yes,
right?
and there needs to be a temple.
And then
we're going to talk about that.
The temple's next. So the next passage after the Gog Magog stuff is this prediction or prophecy of a temple. It's actually, I don't know, new temple. It's a temple. That
has never been on earth yet.
Yeah, so I'll read it
by
to
the
you.
exact cubits.
Yeah, in the 25th year of our exile, at the beginning of the year, this is chapter 40, Ezekiel 40. The beginning of the year, on the 10th day of the month, in the 14th year after Jerusalem had been captured, on that very day the Lord's hand was on me, and he brought me there. In visions of God, he took me to the land of Israel and set me down on a very high mountain. On its southern slope was a structure resembling a city. He brought me there, and I saw a man whose appearance was like bronze, with a linen cord and a measuring rod in his hand. He was standing by the city gate. He spoke to me, "Son of man, look with your eyes, listen with your ears, and pay attention to everything I'm going to show you. For you have been brought here so that I might show it to you. Report everything you see to the house of Israel." And what he goes to describe is a temple, right? It's a temple.
Massive one.
It's a big temple.
The walls are like 8 feet thick.
Yeah, it's a big old temple. And this is what's supposed to, I don't know, it's supposed to, he sees a vision of a temple.
A futurist is reading this, right? Yeah. So if you have a futurist, mostly dispensationalists would do this.
Yeah.
They would say, the measurements that Ezekiel has and the restoration of Israel that is described has never happened in history.
Yeah.
And therefore it must happen one day.
That's right.
Exactly like he said, there's going to be a temple built exactly like Ezekiel says.
Yeah, that's right.
And so they're still looking for it.
Yeah, the temple will literally be rebuilt in the millennial kingdom when Christ returns to reign for 1,000 years. And they're going to sacrifice in this temple.
Yes.
And now there is a caricature about the sacrificial system in dispensational stuff that's not fair. Now, maybe the super old school one said that the sacrifices would be atonement sacrifices.
Old school dispensationalists would say this would be a new dispensation, and the sacrifices are coming back. And they're going to be just like the Old Testament.
Yeah,
but nobody believes that.
They don't believe that.
I don't say nobody.
Yeah,
don't send
I'm
me
sure
your weirdo
crazy.
last man
They would say
standing
that the
stuff
sacrifices would be like memorials of Christ's death and things like that.
Yeah, right? it would be like the Lord's Supper
on
almost.
The same level as that, right? So it's not atonement stuff, but that's what they're...
unless you're Roman Catholic.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's a memorial sacrifice. Yeah.
Anyways, that's the futurist views that this is like there will be this temple that's rebuilt.
Mm-hmm.
Now, more covenantal side is going to say that. Well, you have two options really. I've heard two options. One, the temple.
I've heard it both ways.
Represents. God's presence among his people in a general sense.
It's the church.
It's the church. It's the Holy Spirit indwelling God's church, right? That's a fine view right there. And then there's this other side of it that this idea of the temple, it pushes kind of even more beyond that to idealize God's new creation. It's perfect in measurement, all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And so it's like an even more figurative way to look at it.
They'll say, listen, in the book of Revelation, John said, there was no temple there.
Yeah.
For the Lamb is the temple in that place. And so
what they were going to say is that is different than the millennial kingdom.
Who will say that?
Right. So Revelation 21.
Yeah.
Yeah,
2021.
Yeah, they're going to say that's different than millennial kingdom.
Who?
There's something has to come after the millennial kingdom. Right?
You're still talking about dispensationalists.
Yeah, dispensationalists.
Yeah, I was talking about covenantalists.
Yeah,
covenantalists will say there is no temple.
Yeah.
Ever again, Jesus and the church is what this is talking about. Yeah. It's not talking about a literal place that's got to be built.
That's right.
He is typecasting the temple.
Yeah.
And covenantalists will say, look at Hebrews, man.
Yeah.
Look at Hebrews.
Yeah.
This is all shadow of the kingdom of God.
We don't need a temple.
We don't need a temple.
Ever again.
And
you are the temple.
That's when they start saying, disparaging things to dispensations. Like,
Yeah.
it's blasphemy to say we're going to make temple offerings again.
Yeah.
For Jesus is once for all sacrifice.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you people?
And that's the caricature I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It's like, well,
which in 1910 there might have been people who believe that.
Yeah.
But now we have our socies and their progressive dispensations. Like,
Yeah.
look, guys, it's just going to be a memorial. Okay,
Yeah,
we're going to eat the thing, and it's going to be a nice temple. Just come hang out with us.
Yeah, a sacrifice was a meal.
Yeah.
It was a meal.
It was a meal.
It's like, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
It's a fair reading.
Yeah.
I get that.
We're just celebrating the fact that Jesus died for our sins forever and ever and ever and ever.
That's right. And there's feast in the end time.
We will feast in the house of Zion.
That's right. Exactly.
Facts.
Right. I love that song.
Yeah.
Well said. And so you have the two views is like one of that it's about the church being the temple of God today, and then also that there's this ultimate restoration.
So
right?
the real thing I want you to come away with this from, dear listener, is that how these two views are reading this.
Yeah.
If you have been in a place where you're like, there's a 7-year tribulation and the Antichrist is going to come and he's going to sit in the temple, he's going to make a covenant with Israel and he's going to break it and there's going to be a persecution. And before all that stuff happens, the church is raptured out. You are reading a futurist way to understand Ezekiel. And part of the reason they're saying that stuff is because they do not think Ezekiel 40 has been fulfilled.
That's right.
And it must be fulfilled literally.
Yeah.
And that's why they keep saying literally.
Yeah.
And they'll say, covenantalists don't take the Bible literally. And we'll be like, yeah, we do. We just don't think it means what you say it means, but we literally believe it. We just think you're reading it wrong.
Yeah. There's another option too with that. I forgot about.
Another
option. The historical one.
Yeah.
Where they would say that the temple stuff were instructions on how the second temple was supposed to be built, and they just didn't listen. And they didn't listen. Like, and so it's like and that happens a couple times. Like, where something is prophesied, and like it's not saying, the point isn't to say this will happen. The point is to say this is how it ought to be. And that's what they say. Well, they just didn't listen to him.
Yeah. But
that's like along the Matthew Henry vein of things, right?
But I don't think that works, because this temple is going to be filled with the Holy Spirit like the first temple.
The presence of God's supposed to show up.
The presence of God. And the presence of God did not show up in Herod's temple.
No.
And they much to the lamentation of Israel in the day, which you can understand. He did build a wonder of the world. Now, the second temple was a marvel. Way bigger than the first one.
There's a stone that was part of it. It's the largest structural stone ever placed.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Ever.
Crazy.
Still, it's massive.
Yeah, it's kind of like the biggest dome that was ever built was designed by Michelangelo. It's still the largest freestanding dome in the world.
I mean, we could probably do it bigger, but why?
Well, we can't, because we can't afford it now.
Oh,
my goodness. The money or the time. I think it's St. Peter's Basilica.
Is that right?
Actually.
How about that?
Yeah.
So that's one of them, the Ezekiel stuff. There's a couple more things in Ezekiel we could get into, but it's like remember I told you we can't do everything, and also we don't care about all those details.
So basically, what we're looking at here is, I would say, with 70% confidence, that what Ezekiel is talking about here is the church age, and that God is going to establish the church as his holy temple. Its exact measurements are not important, but that there's going to come a time when God fills the nations.
Yeah. And there's
we
another
commune with him.
Yeah, that's right. There's another time where the measurements aren't that important.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like when you get into the end of Revelation.
Yes.
And it's clear that the measurements aren't that important. So at the end of Revelation, you get the city of God, the New Jerusalem. That
it's coming down from heaven to land on earth.
Yeah, and you have all this stuff about its size and whatnot. But then like all of that gets really figured out real quick when he says, and it's the people of God. It's not about the structure.
No, not to mention the fact that one wall is 1,000 miles long.
Yeah.
That's from here to Colorado.
Yeah.
And it's 1,000 miles tall.
Yeah.
So New Jerusalem coming down onto earth, it sits on the earth like a top hat.
Yeah,
I mean, it would be massive.
Yeah.
You would see it from outer space.
It'd be a cube.
It'd be a cube
sitting on top of the earth.
That would stretch from Alabama to Colorado up past New York and the ocean.
A third of the way to the moon or something.
Yeah,
it's probably not that. It's not that
no,
far. But it is into outer space. Our atmosphere is only like 7 miles thick.
Yes,
right?
yeah. Everest is like what 4 or 5 miles high.
Yeah.
This is 1,000 miles high.
Yeah. So the point is that like, and it says it's the people of God, right? The idea is like that the measurements, all the particularness in the measurements are talking about its perfection.
It's
right?
perfection. And so these are both prophetic.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't like, hey, let's say I'm wrong. Okay, just for the listener. Okay. Let's say I'm wrong. And the dispensational futurist is right. I'm still going over there. I'm going to be like, oh, this is cool.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, I messed up.
Yeah.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
I love this place. Let's go get some of that memorial
The stakes are pretty low, huh?
And every time I see a dispensation, so I'm like, you got me, bro.
Yeah.
Like we was playing football, you beat us by 2 touchdowns. You crushed the Ezekiel thing. I thought it was a type of things to come, but it was like for real.
For real.
Yeah.
Let's do Daniel now. We'll finish up with Daniel. Okay, so Daniel.
Can we finish all of Daniel? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
You know, there's stuff to talk about, but it's not like crazy long. I don't think it is.
Yeah, I don't know.
So there are a couple things that happen in Daniel. And the first thing I just want to recognize is in chapter 7. This isn't so much like how you interpret, because it's interpreted for you later on. But I think it sets the stage for your expectations in Revelation. And that's with the beasts, right? So in Daniel 7, you get, I'll read some of it, okay?
Well, before this, he prophesies one time about the Messianic kingdom, and it's a little more clear.
What passage?
So he sees, y'all remember Meshach, Shadrach, and Abednego, right?
Yeah.
And oh gosh, what's the king's name?
Darius.
Was it Darius that made the?
Oh, I thought it was.
No, it's not. It's what is the name
Belshazzar?
of the king that made the big idol that they had to bow down
Nebuchadnezzar?
to. Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah. So Nebuchadnezzar makes a big idol that they have to bow down to, and right. God rescues them from the fire. But Daniel has a vision of another statue, and it's massive. Oh, yeah. And the top of its head is like gold, and then it turns to like silver, and its legs are bronze, and at the bottom, its feet are clay and iron, right? And then this massive boulder falls down from heaven and smashes the feet of this statue, and it falls over and is destroyed. And then that boulder grows and grows and grows and grows and fills the whole world. What the heck is that?
Yeah.
And so Daniel tells us it's basically the kingdoms of the earth are gonna, grow and assert their dominance like Babylon. And they're going to be in opposition to the people of God. But one day the kingdom of Christ is coming, and it will smash the feet of the idol, and the kingdom of God will grow and fill the entire world. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
That is what so we have that prophecy in Daniel, and then we're going to come up on these kingdoms. So this is a theme that happens in Daniel.
Yeah.
It is the ushering in of the Messianic kingdom in opposition to the evil kingdoms of the earth.
That's right. And so that's where you get in chapter 7. So, and there's really important language that will be a huge trajectory changer based on how you look at this. In my vision at night, I was watching. This is chapter 7, verse 2. And suddenly the 4 winds of heaven stirred up the great sea. 4 huge beasts came up from the sea, each different from the other.
Yeah.
First was like a lion. There's some stuff. It doesn't really matter. There's
some weird stuff.
There's 4 beasts. One looks like a bear. One looks like a leopard with the 4 wings. And then the 4th beast, and it was frightening and dreadful, incredibly strong, large iron teeth, devoured and crushed, and it trampled with its feet whatever was left from all the other beasts before it. And it had 10 horns, right? All right. So
the horns are important.
The horns,
it's goes got a little horn uttering blasphemies. This imagery pops back up in Revelation.
Yeah. The big important piece of this is that the category of beast is presented here in Daniel, like the typology for beast. These are the prototype for when you read beast in Revelation. It's already been introduced. It's not a fresh concept. And these beasts are nations. They are governments. And it says that later on. It explains like this is a vision that it has an explanation that goes with it.
Yeah.
That these are nations that come. Empires, right? That come and follow through and end up conquering Jerusalem as, later on. And I guess all of Israel counts for that too. Yeah. So the first one is, the Babylonian Empire, the lion with eagle's wings. Then you have the Medo-Persian Empire, and that's what happens there with That's when Darius shows up, right?
Yeah.
So
here's the thing.
Yeah.
3 of these kingdoms, we know who they are.
Yeah.
The 4th one we like to fight about.
That's right, and that's what I'm going to get to. Yeah, so you have he was conquered by Babylon. Daniel was, and then Darius comes in, conquers. That's the Medo-Persian Empire, and then you have the Greek Empire, Alexander the Great,
Macedonians,
and it's split into four heads,
which literally happened.
Literally happens.
Incredible prophecy.
This is like one of those that's like.
So if you don't know, Alexander the Great conquered all that region and died without an heir.
Yeah.
And so his 4 generals split it 4 ways, just exactly like Daniel said they would.
That's right. And one of them, I guess it's the Seleucid Empire.
Seleucid or whatever.
They are the worst to Israel. Like they're the ones who Antiochus Epiphanes is part of this, and who is the abomination of desolation, right?
Well, it depends on who you're asking.
I know, right? So historically, it's like how they looked at it is like he came into the temple and put up Zeus and all this kind of stuff.
Offered a pig sacrifice according to, was it Maccabees?
Yeah.
Or Josephus? Who? I guess it was Maccabees.
Yeah. And it's terrible, right?
Yeah.
And that's the horn, right? A lot of people think.
So let's get into it.
Yeah, let's get into it.
So the covenantalist, the person who's not the futurist, will say, listen, the 4th kingdom was basically the Seleucid, the Roman Empire.
The Roman Empire.
It's the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
And it
Who came after the four nations that came from Alexander the Great, which happened in history. This is a historical thing.
So
Rome took over all those things.
Right. So let's say, listen, read this consecutively. Their critique of the of dispensationalists throughout Daniel is y'all keep trying to add these gaps that aren't there.
Yeah.
Like you got one after the next, and then you will say, oh, wait, no, the next one's way out here somewhere. They're having to invent a gap. And so the covenantals say there is no gap in Daniel. This is Rome. And the abomination that causes desolation and the little horn of Daniel is Antiochus Epiphanes, who did these horrible things and went in the temple and sacrificed a pig and forced them to stop temple worship and did all kinds of terrible stuff.
Yeah.
That's who it was. It's fulfilled.
It already happened.
It already happened.
That's the covenantalist view.
Yeah.
That happened. The futurist view has a big old gap in here. And
because they're saying, well, it didn't happen exactly like it says here.
Yeah. Which parts, though? Like, did you have, like, I feel like I've read through them, like, I don't know what parts didn't happen. Like, I don't know what y'all are looking for.
They're like, why then is Paul still talking about the little horn?
Yeah.
Or the, what does he call him? The man of lawlessness. What is Paul
the man
called?
Of lawlessness. That's right.
Yeah, he's like, see,
the Antichrist.
Paul's still talking about the Antichrist. It can't be Antiochus Epiphanes because Antiochus Epiphanes was already around before Paul, and Paul would have known about him. So why is he still talking about it?
Jesus talks about the abomination of desolation.
Yeah, Jesus does too.
He's the one. Yeah,
and
so, we're gonna get to that next week.
So clearly, it can't be him. But then you say, but it's a type.
It's a type.
Yeah.
It's like everything you hated about that guy, Antiochus Epiphanes, who desecrated the temple. Dude, he's going to desecrate the temple again.
In 70 AD.
Yeah, but who's the temple now?
Yeah,
it's the church. Yeah, they're coming for you, church.
They're coming for you.
Yeah, and they did.
Ultimately, it is the powers behind the throne that matter.
Right.
The powers behind Babylon and Medo-Persian Empire and Rome and all this stuff is the devil.
That's right.
It's the devil. Yeah. And he is trying his best to stamp out the people of God.
Yeah.
And that's what all of Revelation's about up to Jesus coming back.
That's right.
It's why the dragon's sweeping stars out of the sky. That's why he's trying to catch the baby and eat him as soon as he's born. This is the devil trying to destroy the church. And that's why we're not protected.
Yeah.
Because our enemy, the devil, is prowling around like a roaring lion seeking whom may devour. Yeah. But then the dispensationalists will say, you said he was bound in a pit.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, he is bound in a pit, but
because he's not successful. Like the church still grows. People are still saved.
Yeah, and the gospel's gone into the whole world.
Yeah,
yeah.
And it could be worse, right? Like,
but wait, it could be worse. Yeah.
So this is an important one right here. How you read Daniel 7 through like 9 or whatever with the horn and all this kind of stuff is very important. We're not going to get into the details. You can go read this on your own, and it'll be clear as you read it. It's like, oh, okay, they're waiting for this one very important kind of, and what is called the Antichrist figure to be really harassing.
Yeah. So horns. Why are they horns? Horns are poetic for powerful and strong. Like we say today, you mess with the bull.
Yeah,
you get the horns,
yeah.
right? So the horns were not. You didn't want to be on the business end of a horn, and so these powerful rulers or these kingdoms having 10 horns, it means that it's massively powerful.
Yeah.
And there's one horn in particular that won't shut up its blasphemies.
Yeah.
And that is the Antichrist.
Yeah.
And which is clearly, according to the Baptist Confession 1689, the Pope in Rome.
They say that.
They say that. They say it in
that.
Westminster too. Looking at you, presbyters. Yeah. So
we don't believe that.
But here's the deal.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes I do. Well, it depends. It's a typology.
You're right. That's the big thing.
Anything.
So that's the big difference, right?
Yeah.
If you have the covenantalist view, is going to say Antichrist is a archetype.
Yes.
Right? There are tons of them.
John says that. There are many antichrists in the world today.
But the future is going to say, but there's one.
There's one.
And what's funny about Westminster and 1689 is the way they talk, they act like there's one.
Yeah.
And it's just the Pope.
They're mad at him.
Yeah.
Dude. Well, we were going through a rough divorce.
Yeah, that was a rough divorce.
That's what I tell everybody. Man, we had a rough time. It was lots of bad slinging back and forth. But let the record show the Baptists never burned anybody at the stake.
We didn't do
we
that.
We never did.
Yeah.
We're
like the only ones.
I know it. We will jabber and we will make you feel bad and we'll be rude, but we will not roast you on the the pyre. We didn't do that.
We were the ones roasted.
We might.
I didn't get roasted.
They roasted us. All right. Dunked us. Man, they was mean to us.
Oh, yeah.
That's why we said,
you want to be baptized? We'll hold you down.
Hold you down. Yeah.
Drown you. So here's another part of this Daniel passage here. This is the explanation of it, okay? Just so that you can put eyes on where it's explained. In chapter 8, verse 17, so he approached where I was standing. When he came near, I was terrified and fell face down. Son of man, he said to me, understand that the vision refers to the time of the end. While he was speaking to me, I fell into a deep sleep with my face to the ground. Then he touched me, made me stand up, and said, I am here to tell you what will happen at the conclusion of the time of wrath, because it refers to the appointed time of the end. The two-horned ram that you saw represents the kings of Media and Persia. The shaggy goat represents the king of Greece, and the large horn between his eyes represents the first king. The four horns that took the place of the broken horn represent four kingdoms. They'll rise from the nation, but without its power. Now, here's a point I want to make on that. He says this is what's about the end. This is stuff that happened pre-Jesus.
Yeah.
And he says this is the time of the end will happen at the conclusion of the time of wrath. So the discussion about when the end times are is solved in Daniel. Mm-hmm. They start at the conclusion of the Old Testament, man.
Yeah,
it's like it is God is wrapping it up right here. Like it's all coming to a conclusion, and Jesus is a focal point of that conclusion, right? When he shows up, he's the Son of Man that's mentioned earlier, right?
The Ancient of Days.
Yeah, the Ancient of Days.
There's some pretty boss stuff in here. Yeah. It says, I kept looking until the thrones were set up, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His vesture was like white snow, and the hair of his head was pure wool, and his throne was ablaze with flames. Its wheels were a burning fire. A river of fire was flowing and coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands were attending him. Myriads upon myriads were standing before him. The court sat, and the books were opened. Dude, if that ain't something to be...
And it's also like...
wild.
Again, everything you've seen in the book of Revelation, you have a precursor for
Absolutely.
it. That's the book of Revelation stuff. It's in Daniel. So if you're trying to read Revelation without Isaiah, Daniel, Ezekiel, like what are you doing?
Yeah, at the end, what happens to Satan and death?
Thrown in the lake of fire.
Listen to this.
Yeah.
We could play Revelation or Daniel.
Yeah.
Then I kept looking because of the sound of the boastful words which the horn was speaking. I kept looking until the beast was slain, and its body was destroyed and given to the burning fire. Yeah. As for the rest of the beasts, their dominion was taken away, but the extension of life was granted them an appointed period of time. Now there's another boss explanation. By the way, every time you see a prophecy in the Bible, it's a poem. like 99% of the time.
That's true. Yeah, they are.
And I kept looking in the night visions, and behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like the Son of Man was coming. Remember when the priests were saying he blasphemed for saying he was the Son of Man?
Yeah.
And he said, you will look for me and you won't see me again till you see me coming with the clouds of heaven.
Yeah.
And they tore their clothes and said he blasphemed.
Yeah.
Because they recognized that he was saying, I am Messiah who's going to come back.
Yeah.
Behold, he comes riding on the cloud. Yeah. And behold, with the clouds of heaven, one like the Son of Man was coming. He came up to the Ancient of Days and was presented before him. This is Revelation 5. And to him was given dominion, glory, and a kingdom, that all peoples, nations, and men of every language might serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which will never pass away, and his kingdom is one which will never be destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the end.
Yeah. And then, so next you have the weeks.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
and I guess we'll finish with the weeks probably.
Well,
do you want to say something else?
I do.
Yeah.
Because Daniel's upset.
Uh-huh.
It says, I was distressed within my spirit, and the visions in my mind were alarming me. And I approached one of those who were standing and asked the exact meaning of all this. The great beasts who are four in number, and four kings who will arise from the earth. You read that. But he said, I desired to know the exact meaning of the fourth beast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which was different from all the others because it was exceedingly dreadful, and he talks about how horrible it was. The meaning of the 10 horns and the one horn. And here it says, I kept looking, and that horn was waging war with the saints and overpowering them until the Ancient of Days came and judgment was passed in the favor of the saints of the highest one. And the time arrived when the saints took possession of the kingdom. So how long will the church suffer?
Yeah, until Jesus comes back.
There is no secret rapture.
Yes, that's the whole point.
When Jesus comes back, it's over.
Yeah, and so
even in Daniel,
the fourth beast is like it's all of them, man. It's like it's the world empire with Satan behind it.
Yeah,
like that is always bringing destruction and persecution to Christians, right? Now that's a little weird if you're here in like rural Alabama or something, you don't feel like you're persecuted because you're not, right? It's nice around here, but man, that's not the story of the last 2,000 years, right? That's not the story right now all over the world, is it? As a Christian,
you think. I mean, if you think that the only attack Satan has is to like hang you upside down and dip you in boiling oil, you've had it fine.
That's right.
But let me tell you what. He's after you in more ways than that.
That's true. That's very true. Compromise is a wonderful tool.
He is a mind worm.
And so maybe you're not being hunted down in the streets of Albertville, but you are 100% being lured into compromise.
You ready for persecution and trickery and damnation? Here's what it starts with. Has God really said?
Yeah, 100%.
That's how he's trying to get you. That's how he gets you. Did God really say? Yeah. You know what he said? Mm-hmm. God said you can't eat from this fruit? Mm-hmm. Well, you know why he told you that. It's because he knows the day that you eat it, you will become like God.
Yeah.
Oh, what a lie.
I heard that in a sermon yesterday.
I taught that yesterday.
You did.
He's a slimy snake. Oh, my goodness.
It's well said.
You're not a God.
And so, the futurist is going to be looking for a world power to be this last beast, Nikolai Carpathia left behind, right?
The insolent,
the one world government kind of stuff, and they're gonna interpret like and it's the beast and the Antichrist and all this kind of stuff, and they're gonna interpret the mark of the beast in some sort of economic terms based on that, and they have all these details that they're gonna layer into it. Not all of them, just some of them. Okay, not all of them. Yeah. But then you have the covenantalists. They're looking at this and saying, look, this is like from the time that Jesus left until he comes back. It's going to be a time of trial and persecution, which Jesus said. He told us that. You can tell where we land.
Yeah, and here's the thing, though. There's so many good things. We want to talk about the Antichrist, but the beauty is the fact that there's going to come a kingdom that will have no end, and it belongs to Jesus.
That's right.
And that the saints...
Everyone agrees with that part.
The saints will be given the kingdom forever and ever, and they will rule. And... man, that's the part I like. I like that part.
Me too. I like that part too. Yeah. All right, let's finish up with the weeks, okay?
Oh, my goodness.
There's these 70 weeks.
By the way, when Daniel heard these, in chapter 8, he says, I, Daniel, was exhausted and sick for days.
Oh, yeah.
Poor guy.
I get it.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah. It exhausts me too.
It's exhausting, man.
Yeah. So in chapter 9, you have these 70 weeks of years, right? And it's kind of funky. It's a funky way to talk about time.
77s. It's 490 years.
Yeah, I'll read it to you. So Daniel while he was speaking, praying, confessing my sin at the sin of my people Israel, and presenting my petition before the Lord, my God, concerning the holy mountain of my God. While I was praying, Gabriel, the man I'd seen in the first vision, reached me in my extreme weakness about the time of the evening offering. He gave me this explanation. Daniel, I've come now to give you understanding. At the beginning of your petitions, an answer went out, and I have come to give it, for you are treasured by God. Consider the message and understand the vision. This is the vision. 70 weeks are decreed about your people and your holy city to bring the rebellion to an end, to put a stop to sin, to atone for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. There's the purpose right there. Okay? 7 weeks are decreed.
I am sitting on the edge of my seat to tell you all these things. Go ahead.
All right, keep on going. Know and understand this. From the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until an anointed one, the anointed one is Messiah, the ruler, will be 7 weeks and 62 weeks. It will be rebuilt with a plaza and a moat, but in difficult times. After those 62 weeks, the anointed one will be cut off. The Messiah will be cut off and will have nothing. The people of the coming ruler will destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end will come with a flood, and until the end there will be war. Desolations are decreed. He will make a firm covenant with many for 1 week, but in the middle of the week he will put a stop to sacrifice and offering, and the abomination of desolation will be on a wing of the temple until the decreed destruction is poured out on the desolator. Whew, all right. There's a lot going on there, Brad.
I know it.
Yeah.
I know it.
So tell us all about the weeks and what they mean.
From whose perspective?
We'll start with the covenantalists because that's where you're.
Okay. So the covenantalists would say the 70 weeks have been fulfilled.
Yeah.
Explain 70 weeks will be fulfilled. So when it says 70 weeks have been decreed for your people, your holy city, to finish transgression, to make an end of righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. They would say this is what Jesus did when he died and rose from the dead. Is he made an atonement for iniquity. He put an end to sin, and he is the one who is anointed in the most holy place, not made by hands, but in the heavens themselves. So this happened. Yeah. And they will say over here where it says the Messiah, the Prince, will be cut off and have nothing. He died.
Yep.
The Prince to come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. Here come Titus.
Yep.
Jesus said this.
Yep.
He said he's going to, not one stone going to be top of another. So Titus 70 AD. And its end will come with a flood. Doesn't necessarily mean a real figurative water flood, but like a flood of enemies. Mm-hmm. And there will be wars and desolations to be determined.
Yeah.
And he will make a firm covenant. Here's what's crazy. Mm-hmm. Who is he? So if you read as a covenantalist, the he is Messiah.
Yeah.
That Jesus will make a covenant with many for the week. But in the middle of the week, he will put a stop of the sacrifice. This is Jesus dying on the cross for you. There's no more sacrifice. Yeah. This is why the veil of the temple is torn from top to bottom. And on the wing of abomination will come who makes desolate until the complete destruction, one that is decreed and poured out on the one who makes desolate. So Jesus puts a stop to the sacrifices. Here comes General Titus or whoever you see in there who destroys Jerusalem, and people are in there during the siege of Titus eating their own children. It's so horrible. Yeah. And it is done. But the person who makes the covenant and puts an end to the offering is Jesus because his death. Now, you can't get more far from disagreement here.
It's very different.
So the dispensationalist says, you must be crazy.
Crazy.
When it says the Messiah, the Prince, will cut off and have nothing, that's the death of Jesus. They would agree. Mm-hmm. But the people of the Prince who's to come, this is Antichrist. And his end will come with a flood. And so Antichrist is coming.
So give the reference there. What verse are you talking about?
26.
So
Daniel 9:26.
It says, after those 62 weeks, the Messiah will be cut off and will have nothing. The people of the coming ruler. That's what you're saying. Like, who is this?
They'll say that ruler is Antichrist.
Yes.
The little horn.
So they're saying, one is saying the ruler is Jesus.
Well, they'll say Messiah the Prince. So a covenantalist will say, well, the people of the Prince to come was just the Romans who came and destroyed the place after Jesus, right?
Yeah.
The dispensationalists will say, no, the one who's coming is Antichrist at the end.
Yeah.
It's not Rome.
Yeah.
And when it says, and he will make a firm covenant, he is the Antichrist.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
So there's 1 week left, which is 7 years.
Yeah.
And this is the tribulation. And during the tribulation, he, referring to Antichrist,
that's the part,
makes a covenant with many. He's going to make a deal with Israel. But in the middle, at 3.5 years, he's going to stop that. And it's all hell's going to break loose on the world for the last 3.5 years of tribulation. And the Jews are going to be persecuted. And there's lots of stuff going on. There's a couple of evangelists, 144,000 Jews, whatever, going to get saved. This is what they put in there.
That's such a wildly different
it can't get more
interpretation.
Different.
One is saying it's Jesus, the other one's saying it's the Antichrist.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And that it all comes down to in verse 27.
Who is he?
And is this a piece of the Aramaic too?
I don't know.
So some of Daniel is not Hebrew, it's Aramaic.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wonder about that. So, but we do know that pronouns are often like very subtly used in Hebrew and stuff.
The antecedent is sometimes ambiguous.
Yeah, so it's wild how much like weight is
the last named
Yeah.
person was Messiah.
Yeah.
Unless you count the people of the prince. And so they're saying, well, the people of the prince is Antichrist and he will make the firm covenant. The others say, no, Jesus is making the covenant and he's cutting off the sacrifice and burnt offering.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's a little tough, you know. The firm covenant is what like the dispensational or the futurist people will go. So it's like enforce a covenant. He's like, it's like enforcement. This is like not this isn't like a happy thing, right? And so that's what they would say is like, well, that means it's this bad king, bad prince, you know, figure, ruler, doing it. And so they have that, right? But the covenantalist is looking at the detail in the language, like, but it's a covenant. Like God is the one who's making covenants with people, not a what. So it doesn't. They were saying the terms are getting mixed here.
If you've never heard of this before in your life, it's kind of a deep dive. It's not. It's not. Let me go to sleep at night reading. It's called A Case for Amillennialism.
Show them the cover
by Kim Riddlebarger.
Yeah,
and he will make the best case for amillennialism probably.
Yeah, he does a good job.
And I could read you paragraph after paragraph because this annoys him. Daniel 9.
Oh, yeah.
This is most
textually.
Oh yeah. Well, he says the interpretation of verse 27 raises two immediate questions. First, if Christ will be cut off in the middle of the 70th week, what would happen to the last part of the sabbatical period before the Jubilee? So that kind of gives you like the depth of complication.
Oh yeah, he's in deep on it. Yeah.
He's in deep.
Yeah.
And so you gotta. It would take me 5 minutes to read you enough context for you to realize what Kim is talking about.
Yeah.
So get it yourself.
Yeah.
Read it.
Do your own reading.
Yeah, do your own reading on it.
Mentally, what you can see is like how much is hanging on interpretation of like a word, a single word, when it comes to that. We would say the evidence kind of points more to the amillennial perspective, which is to say that this is just talking about what happened to Jesus on the cross.
Here he says, in other words, the covenant being confirmed in the middle of the 70th week by the anointed was a covenant of grace which already existed. This is a reference to the covenant of grace which God had previously made with Abraham and now was confirmed by the Messiah on behalf of many, those redeemed by the suffering servant of Isaiah 53:12.
Yeah. And, putting a stop to sacrifice and offering, that's a difficult thing to make sense of with being a future, bad, evil ruler. Right? You know what I mean?
Yes.
So this is also the layer, I forgot about this. This is the layer of why there has to be this, like, if you've ever been around like dispensationals or, that are saying things like, well, this temple's got to get going, this temple project. The temple has to be there, and they have to start sacrificing in it. The red heifer stuff, controversies, that has to start happening so that this Antichrist can stop it.
Yeah, like if you believe that, literally the end of the world can't come at any minute.
Yeah.
It has to wait for the temple to be rebuilt.
Yeah.
This is funny because he uses obvious.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh,
he says, the failure to acknowledge the obvious covenantal context of the Messianic covenant maker of 27, who confirms the covenant with many, leads dispensationalists to confuse Christ with Antichrist. A more serious interpretive error is hard to imagine.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big difference. It's a really big difference.
Well, they don't get along.
They don't get along too good. Yeah. You know, it's like I said, it's not that it's unfair. It's not like a completely unfair reading. They look at the firm covenant. It's enforced. They look at the
exactitude of the weeks.
Yeah, Yeah, and you have like this, the most recently mentioned person is this prince, this king or whatever, ruler. So they have those things, but I think that they lack the broader context whenever they're just, interpreting.
Well, you have this. I don't know, man, how to say it. Once you are reading this, like it hasn't happened yet. Mm-hmm. There are things that must happen because this doesn't seem to have happened. So how can it happen? And then you start inserting those things.
Yeah. That's all about your expectations.
Yeah. Expectations. Who is the Antichrist? What is an Antichrist?
Yeah.
Is there an Antichrist and the Antichrist? This.
Yeah.
And so pretty much everybody's wanting to get out of here. I mean, we all want to go to heaven.
Yeah.
So, some people just like fan fiction more than others.
Yeah. Yeah. But it affects things. So it totally affects things.
Absolutely.
It affects things now, and it affects. Man, it's so wild how the power of some versions of the dispensational premillennialism, the effect it has on people, what they do now. Your sentiment towards Israel right now.
Oh, absolutely.
It's hugely affected by your interpretation of this passage.
Yes, because they will say. A dispensationalist, you probably got people say this. This is the Israel of God, and anybody who goes against Israel is going against God.
Yeah, and think about what's at stake. If Israel is under attack by say a majorly Islamic country.
Yeah.
Right, which has happened, right?
In the past. They're at war right now. It's just huge.
Right.
People pro-Palestinian marches and people for Israel.
So right now, the place of the temple is a mosque.
Yeah.
Right? And if Jerusalem is taken over, well, what you've just done is you've kicked the can of the return of Christ down the road.
Yes.
Even more, right? And so the only thing stopping Jesus from returning is this construction of the temple. Now, also, if you have a pro-Israel, like what do they call it? Zionist movement, right? Get all the Muslims out, right, of Israel, so that they can build their temple back.
When Israel
start the whole sacrifices,
when the UN decided to make the Jews a homeland, and to send them back, evangelical churches contributed to help fly people there.
Yeah, they did.
Because they were like, we got to get them Jews back into Israel so that they can knock down the Dome of the Rock mosque, and we can rebuild the temple so Jesus can come back.
Yeah.
And we got to find us a red heifer. So there's people down in Texas, man, they're breeding red heifers that ain't got one single white hair.
Yeah.
So that
when
we're ready to build the temple and we can sprinkle the ashes of the perfect red heifer, like they are using Israel to get Jesus back. We're trying to get this thing done, see? And there are other reasons to support Israel.
Yeah, there are other reasons.
Yeah, there are other reasons.
They are a democracy.
But let me talk to you about the Bible for a minute. The Israel that's there now is apostate and under the judgment of God.
They're pagans.
Yes.
They're pagans.
If you reject Messiah, you have rejected the blessing of God.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah, they're not God's people. Like they are
not in the way people who follow
their
Messiah
ancestors used to be.
Yeah.
Right? What you could say.
Well, maybe. I mean, Jesus looked at the Israelites of his day, the leadership, and he said, "You are children of your father, the devil."
Yeah.
That's what Jesus said.
Paul says not all Israel is Israel.
No. So what are we saying? We're not being anti-Semitic. Okay, we love a Jew,
Not
and his
at
name's
all.
Jesus. We love lots of Jews.
Yeah.
What we are saying is they don't have a special provenance in the blessing of God because they rejected the Lord's Messiah.
That's right.
And any time Israel rejected God, they got punished and put into exile so God could run them out of the land tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Now, he's given them a place, and he's being real nice, and who knows what will happen to them. Mm-hmm. Maybe there'll be a great revival. I don't know what's going to happen. Yeah. And they do seem to be the only country in the entire Middle East that got any sense at all.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. There we go. I'm not talking about...
I think they're good allies for the U.S. Like, it's all like the Jews. But there's a big like red line that should run between your theology and your politics on that. It's like, it's not the same. Mm-hmm. Like, and there's this weird overlap that happens in evangelicalism because of this theology. Yeah. It's like that they're not the same.
Let me tell you this. Okay, so Judaism is a religion.
Yeah.
So if you convert to Judaism tomorrow, if I did or you did, you go down there and you'd see a mohel and you'd get circumcised. And if you're already circumcised, they'd just cut you a little bit. The poke. I'm dead serious.
Would they really?
Well, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
you got to shed that blood because it's for the covenant. And so you would be a Jewish guy, and you could go to Israel by right of return. You could be a Jew. You could go to Israel, and you could worship God in the way of your ancestors. And how much Abrahamic blood do you have?
Oh, maybe.
Zero.
Yeah.
Zero as far as you know.
As far as I know.
So the idea that Israel is for the descendants, physical descendants of Abraham, is what most evangelicals are thinking. They're like, oh, well, that's the Jewish people over there. They're the physical descendants of Abraham. I want to say, how do you know? Like, there could be a guy who converted to Judaism in 1725, and he is as Gentile as he could be. He ain't got no relation to Abraham, but his children after him, they're all there. Now, a Jewish person would say, oy vey, brother, that guy is a Jew. But the evangelicals aren't thinking that way. They're thinking physical descendant of Abraham, that is who the land belongs to. But there is no way to prove who those people are because all that stuff was burnt in the temple in 70 AD.
And beyond that, it's like, I mean, the diaspora, it's like, you know, when they went out, most of the people...
That means the scattering.
Most of the people that returned... I say most. It's probably not the right way to say that.
Mixed.
So many of them were just Eastern Europeans.
Yeah.
Like, who were displaced because of the wars.
Yes.
Right? Like crazy Russian Revolution stuff going on, and displaced, run out of town.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying there's no way to prove you're a physical descendant of Abraham.
That's right.
So I could be, for all I know, a physical descendant of Abraham, how many ever generations back. And there could be somebody who is in Israel who is Jewish, according to his faith, who has less Abrahamic descendant than me.
Yeah.
There could be Palestinians who are descendants of Abraham and are Christians. But they, you know, there are Palestinian Christians.
Yes, there are tons of them.
And they've been there since 33 AD.
Yeah,
they've been there for 2,000 years. If there's any left, we ain't killed them all.
Yeah, there's churches.
Or the Muslims killed
Christian
them all.
churches there. Palestinian Christians.
Yes, and they could have been Jews in the first century who converted to Christ, and their ancestors, and they started eating pork chops because Jesus said they could. And they looked physically no different than the other Christians of the day. We don't know, so all I'm saying is what is tied up in this. Peace upon the Israel of God. Amen, amen. Who is that? That's the ones that follow Messiah.
Yeah.
The Israel of God are the followers of Messiah. And I don't care if you're from Zimbabwe.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess the big point about that is that we're not the same when it comes to Christianity and Jews. And a lot of times there's like this connection. It's a real connection. It is a real connection. Like Jesus was Jewish. But he was their Messiah.
Yeah, Jesus is Jewish.
He is. Yeah, he still is. Yeah, of course.
Good.
Good fix there. And we're not the same. So our priorities aren't the same. If they are pagans. If you're Jewish and you are not worshiping Christ, we would say you're just as pagan as the Mormon, as the Muslim, as the Hindu.
Yeah, well, pagan, people think that means like worship of many gods.
Oh, I just mean it means worship of a different God. So
Yeah,
that's why.
Yeah,
sorry.
You're under the wrath of God.
Yeah,
there is only one name given under heaven by which men must be saved, and that is Jesus, the promised Messiah, to whom Abraham looked forward to his day.
Yeah.
And if you do not embrace that Messiah, you are outside the blessing of God.
Yeah, they're no different in like sentiment as regards to their religion as a Muslim. Like it's not our Lord.
Judaism is closer to Islam than it is Christianity.
Yeah, well, Muslim or Islam might be closer. You might say it like that.
Yeah, either which way. Yeah. I mean, they both believe in one God.
Yeah.
They both believe that your works will get you there. That's not.
It's not Christianity, though.
It's not Christianity.
Anyways, the effect that this theology can have on your like geopolitical thoughts and stuff and actions is kind of staggering and wild. I think find a better reason.
Well, if you're a futurist, your end times is bound up with Israel being restored and the temple being built and the Antichrist coming, and you're just watching the modern state of Israel, hoping that thing comes to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can't think that. How do you say the day of the Lord comes like a thief if you're literally watching the temple being rebuilt?
Yeah, if you're working on making red heifers.
Yeah, well, I will tell you this, man. If they knock down the Dome of the Rock and they start rebuilding the temple, my certainty is going to start sliding the other way. I mean, like,
really?
What's going on here?
I don't think so. Not for me. It's like there's, of course, they would do that if they could.
Yeah.
Like I don't like. What do you?
No, I'm just saying the fact that it
incentive.
happened would be wild.
Really? I don't know.
Oh, absolutely. No doubt about it. I mean, and the dispensations are going to get loud about it.
They will. But
it's going to get nuts, though. I would probably be like, "Hey, guys, stop selling your stuff. This doesn't mean the end of the world's coming. It might, but
it just means that people are getting what they wanted for a long time. I don't know. It was like that. Of course, there's like ton of incentive to make that happen. So it doesn't.
Oh man,
it wouldn't seem prophetic to me. It would seem like these are people who are finally trying to get what they want.
Well, if they did rebuild the temple and started the temple sacrifice, every single one would be an affront to God.
It would.
Yeah.
And Peter would be going nuts.
Peter would be like, what are y'all doing up in there? Peter. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sacrificing
I thought you were
animals.
talking about Saint Peter. Yeah, he would be going nuts too.
Yeah. All right. I think we've done it. That's pretty much it. Okay.
For the Old Testament.
For the Old Testament. That's end time stuff in the Old Testament. Next time, we're going to start in the Gospels.
There's a lot more, actually, but it's fragments. It would take 50 podcasts.
And I don't think it really changes the points we made, though.
Yeah. In the end of days, in the latter days, the day of the Lord, all of these things appear throughout the Old Testament. The biggest takeaways are there's going to be a Messiah. He's going to have a kingdom that's going to last forever and ever and ever. The Messiah is going to judge the world. His kingdom will never end.
Yep.
We know those things, and that's
Old Testament
all bunched together
eschatology.
in the Old Testament.
Yep, that's the summation of it for sure. Next time we're going to talk about Jesus, the Olivet Discourse, what happens in the Gospels.
Yeah,
and we might even get to Revelation. We'll see. Might be a couple episodes.
A lot.
So if you're this is our longest episode ever. I think.
If you're worn out and exhausted, just think about poor Daniel. That's what he said.
Yeah, he was too.
Worn out and exhausted and sick for many days.
I get it. All right. Hey, thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you.
As always, y'all interact with us on the comments if you would like. If you don't like, just talk bad about us behind your back.
Yeah. My favorite comment of all time was, they said of me, "That is one evil old man."
Yeah, I like that comment too. That was
That's
fun.
The best. It's not untrue. Yeah.
Yeah. You know who you are. All right. We'll see you.